Don't you just love it when your favorite Disney characters get together? Like Mickey running a nightclub where every Disney villain, princess, and sidekick in history shows up as a regular customer to watch old and new Disney shorts. Or a whole town in Maine where the evil queen from Snow White is the mayor and cursed everyone so no one remembers who they actually are. We even love it when the hypothetical children of Disney characters get together, like Maleficent's daughter trying to figure out if she's a bad guy just because her mom was, or if she's good like her crush, the son of Belle and the Beast. Fans have made theories about how Disney all connects to itself. The Disney Grand Unification Theory. But these are the times that Disney actually made shared universes happen. Hey, this is Synergy Loves Company, where we explore how Disney connects to everything, sometimes itself. I'm Eric, and I have got some comments asking me to do a video on the Descendants. My own niece has been asking for it too. Her mom, my sister, wants me to do one on Once Upon a Time, and well, I really just want to watch old episodes of House of Mouse, but it's not streaming anywhere, so here we go. Today, we're looking at the times when Disney built these official shared universes because the fans wanted it so badly. But even before any of these shared universes happened on screen, it was already happening in the parks. Fantasyland at Disneyland was built around the idea of animated Disney storybook characters sharing the same space. Cinderella and Snow White and Peter Pan all live in the same neighborhood. And a similar thing was happening at the Icecapades, like the old Disney on Ice. You could see all the characters from different movies out on the ice together. And we all thought this was great. It was the shared universe. Characters from totally different movies, not necessarily even interacting with each other, just together in the same space. But then in 1988, Disney and Amblin produced Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It takes place in a version of LA where humans and cartoons live side by side. And all the cartoons live in Toontown, like all the cartoon characters. Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Donald Duck, and Daffy Duck, no relation. That shared universe crossed some company lines, but Roger Rabbit was a huge success that led to the continuing success of the Disney animation renaissance in the Disney decade. During the Renaissance, animators would often sneak little Easter eggs into movies like all the time. It wasn't really anything new though. There are actually some characters from Lady and the Tramp that show up in 101 Dalmatians, like during that scene where the dog spread the message around the city. But anyway, during the Renaissance of the 90s, this seems to kick into high gear. In The Little Mermaid, when King Triton makes his big entrance, you can see Mickey, Donald, and Goofy out in the crowd. The Beast from Beauty and the Beast shows up as a little figurine in the Sultan's collection in Aladdin. Scar from The Lion King shows up as a lion pelt in Hercules. Both Belle from Beauty and the Beast and the carpet from Aladdin show up in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. And this still happens more recently too, like when Rapunzel and Flynn Rider showed up at Elsa's coronation in Frozen. Everyone lost their minds. Each one of these on its own is really just the animators having some fun. But when fans started discovering these little Easter eggs, some took it to the next level and started seeing it all as evidence of a shared universe. Like, if all these characters are appearing in other stories, then maybe they all exist in the same world. Maybe every Disney movie is connected. And right at the tail end of the Renaissance, Disney actually, in a big way, put all of their animated characters into a Disney-produced shared universe in the House of Mouse. And Mickey is that mouse who had the House of Mouse. Okay, it's the end of the 90s, and Disney had just bought ABC Cap Cities. Thanks, Michael Eisner. They are officially in the TV business now more than ever before, and they gotta program out their one Saturday morning cartoon block. Mickey makes so much sense. He's the quintessential Disney character, the flagship. But he actually hadn't been in the cartoons for a while. Ever since 1953, he kind of took a break from cartoons. He was losing his edge because he had to be on his best behavior as the official spokesmouse of the company. And by the 90s, he was mostly known as a corporate mascot and the host that welcomes everyone into the Disney parks. Sure, there were some attempts to get him back into the cartoon game. Mickey's Christmas Carol in the 80s was actually another shared universe kind of story with characters from different movies playing the roles in that classic holiday tale. But in the 90s, the last Mickey revitalization attempt, Runaway Brain, was maybe a little too extreme for Disney's comfort. With ABC, Disney could finally fix that, modernize Mickey, and try it out on TV, a little more low stakes. In 1999, they released Mickey Mouse Works. Not the House of Mouse yet. Mickey Mouse Works were Mickey shorts for the modern TV audience. Show developer Bob Ganaway designed it as a kind of a throwback, trying to keep them similar to the original Mickey shorts. Action, adventure, gags. It ran for a year and a half, and it was a return to that old Mickey. But remember, modern audiences still saw him as the corporate mascot, the host. To bring back the old Mickey, you still had to give audiences the current Mickey they knew and loved. So they reworked Mickey Mouse Works into House of Mouse. Mickey and his friends run a dinner theater nightclub called House of Mouse, where they would show the new cartoon shorts on screen. The guest list at the club are all the Disney animated characters, everyone from early shorts to feature films, Snow White, all the way through Atlantis: The Lost Empire, together in the same building. Ganaway and his co-developer Tony Craig had the production challenge, though, of making all these characters look like they belonged together. Snow White's from 1937. She was part of that original experiment to make a feature-length animated film. They didn't have the whole process worked out and figured out yet. The characters from Aladdin were from 1992, and they used computers with the CAP system to ink and paint them. They used computer-generated graphics to build out that movie. The team had to find a visual middle ground that would let the characters from wildly different eras share that same space, and they definitely got it to work. It worked for me back in the day on Saturday mornings. And sometimes the show had fun with it. The animation style differences could create a fun sight gag. And okay, I kind of lied earlier. When I said that every Disney character was in this, it wasn't all of them. The Tarzan crew was kept out because the Tarzan animated series was in production at the same time, and the licensing got a little complicated. And King Louie from the Jungle Book got changed to be his brother, King Larry, because Louis Prima's estate wouldn't let them use the voice or a sound-alike. So it wasn't exactly everyone, but it was most of them. The show ran for 52 episodes across 3 seasons, and it started on ABC and moved to Toon Disney, and its final episode aired in October 2003. And by the end of the 2000s, it had basically disappeared from American airwaves entirely. It never actually got a proper home video release, and it's never shown up on Disney+. There's just that Disney's House of Villains episode that got a home video release and is out there streaming. But us fans, we never forgot it. The House of Mouse built a cult following, and that following has only gotten more vocal over the years. Thanks, Internet. Everyone talking about how great the show was. And the thing I remember most was seeing all those characters sharing that club, that space together. That feeling was exactly what we fans had been asking for since we started spotting those Easter eggs in the films. House of Mouse delivered it. And even though it quickly disappeared from kids' Saturday morning TV, Disney's next move was to bring that same shared universe feeling to primetime. But before we get there, let's talk about a Disney shared universe that doesn't always get enough credit. Long before any of this happened on screen, on television, even in the parks. The Ice-capades and then later Disney on Ice was already doing the shared universe thing. In 1950, the Ice-capades licensed Disney characters for a segment called Walt's Toy Shop. It featured Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Pinocchio, Dumbo, among others, all on the ice together. And then Walt later borrowed those costumes for the opening of Disneyland because he didn't think to make walk-around characters a big thing yet. Disney characters popped in and out of the Ice-capades, but in 1981, through a partnership with Feld Entertainment, Disney on Ice as we know it was born. And it was the place to see all the characters together. You could watch Mickey, Cinderella, Ariel, Belle exist in the same show on the same night. And it was a shared Disney universe on ice, and people loved it. They still do. Sometime in 1999, though, Andy Mooney, the chairman of Disney Consumer Products, went to one of these Disney on Ice shows and noticed all the kids dressed up as princesses to see their favorite princesses and Disney characters skate together on the ice. And he saw dollar signs. In the year 2000, Mooney pushed to formalize a Disney princess franchise. All the princesses together in their own shared retail universe, separate from their movies, or in addition to their movies. Like the Avengers, but they're Disney princesses, and they could sell a lot of stuff. And based on what he saw at Disney on Ice, the people really wanted this. Roy E. Disney, Walt's nephew, didn't want this. His concern was that it would dilute what made each of the princesses special in their own right. So in all the Disney princess promotional images, the characters never make eye contact with each other. They all stare off in slightly different directions. They're together, but still separate. Kind of a weird solution if you ask me, but it made Roy content, and we got the princesses. But then, 18 years later, they actually got to look at each other in Ralph Breaks the Internet. But I guess that's technically the internet avatars of the princesses, and maybe not exactly the princesses, but I don't care. The movie showed the princesses hanging out backstage together, riffing on their movie tropes, character tropes, and rocking modern, comfortable clothes instead of their classic dresses. Fans went absolutely wild because that was the moment they'd been waiting for ever since those Easter eggs, the Disney princess franchise, and that time that Rapunzel showed up at Elsa's coronation. Disney had finally caught up to what the audience already believed. Speaking of modernized princesses, let's get back to that primetime TV. Once upon a time in 2002, remember that, 2002. The WB show Felicity wraps up production, and writers Edward Kistis and Adam Horowitz start thinking about their next project. They come up with a bunch of ideas, but the most promising one is about what if all the fairy tale characters are living in our modern world, but there's like a curse that keeps them from knowing who they truly are. They shelve that idea, and they go on to work with Felicity creator and showrunner J.J. Abrams once again on his ABC television series Lost. I love Lost. When Lost finishes up and they complete the screenplay for Tron Legacy, they finally go back to that idea, that modern fairy tale one, and pitch it to ABC and Disney. And what sweetens the pitch is that Disney has the rights to all those Disney-fied versions of the fairy tale characters that we have grown to love as the definitive pop culture versions of the fairy tale characters and stories. Those are the ones that Kistis and Horowitz want for their show. Disney sees it as a synergy machine. Prestige drama television is booming thanks to shows like Lost, and this is a potential hit that will remind all the viewers of their other Disney properties. And they could connect these famous characters to each other in this new shared universe that might make fans grow new appreciation for these old characters. Once Upon a Time premiered on ABC on October 23rd, 2011, and 13 million people watched the pilot. It was the biggest drama debut ABC had seen in over 5 years. The show became the #1 non-sports program on Sunday nights, and it ran for 7 seasons, 155 episodes, and a spin-off, and it got licensed to over 190 countries. During the first season, the evil queen interrupts Snow White and Prince Charming's wedding to put a curse on everyone there. How maleficent of her. This curse sends all of the fairy tale characters to our world, to a small fishing town in Maine called Storybrooke. The Blue Fairy, with the help of Pinocchio and Geppetto, make it so that one person, the daughter of Snow White and Prince Charming, can escape the curse. And that sets up the whole story. These characters, specifically Disney's versions of the fairy tale characters when possible, all living together in our modern world. Season by season, the show kept expanding. Neverland characters came in season 2 and 3. Frozen's Arendelle characters showed up in Storybrooke after Frozen made an impact. Oz, yep, Disney actually owns a lot of Oz. Wonderland characters. Each new season brought in more Disney IP, and each expansion of the universe was a brand new event for fans. The show giving us primetime versions of our favorite Disney animated characters, but they were live action with story arcs beyond what we originally knew them for. But I told you to remember 2002 when the creators got the original idea for the show. In 2011, when the show premiered, a section of the internet immediately pointed out that it sounds a lot like Fables, Bill Willingham's comic series that had been running since 2002. There it is. The series is about fairy tale characters living in the modern world, keeping in their own hidden community. The comparisons were everywhere, and people on the internet were loud about them, especially because Fables had been optioned to be turned into a TV series in the mid-2000s, and ABC was actually working on a series as late as 2009 before abandoning the idea or maybe shifting it over to Once Upon a Time. But Bill Willingham himself was pretty clear on the whole thing. He said he didn't think Once Upon a Time was Fables plagiarism. He thought that, sure, Kistis and Horowitz probably had encountered Fables at some point, and certain ideas might have made it in there without them really realizing it, but the concept of mythological and fairy tale figures living in the real world is broad enough territory that 2 different projects could be made similar but independently. The fans, though, were far angrier about it than Willingham ever was. Once Upon a Time was the series that we got, and for 7 seasons and a spin-off to Wonderland, it made a Disney shared universe that could work for adults in live action in primetime for the long run. And you can watch all these seasons on Disney+. And if that's not enough for you, you can always check out Bill Willingham's Fables comics. So if The House of Mouse was for us kids growing up in the Disney decade watching Disney classics on VHS, and Once Upon a Time was for the grown-ups connecting with their favorite childhood characters, what about like the new generation, the ones who grew up with the Disney Princess franchise, the post-high school musical crowd? I kind of like that for a generational marker, the post-high school musical crowd. High School Musical was big. It changed things. Disney Channel original movies could become juggernaut Disney properties. There were other phenomenons too. Shows like Hannah Montana, The Jonas Brothers. There was Lemonade Mouth and Teen Beach Movie. These new Disney Channel kids wanted something with music and energy. Disney Channel had finally once again cracked the code with the tween market, but these were all brand new characters and stories. Disney could turn on that synergy machine and make one of these singing, dancing movie shows that connect their classic Disney stories together. Disney Channel asked two writers, Josanne McGibbon and Sarah Perriott, to write us something about teenage children of Disney's most iconic characters. Like High School Musical meets like the Disney villains. Yeah, villains seem to be testing really good right now, so let's go ahead and focus on them. McGibbon and Perriott took that premise and built a story and a whole shared world out of it. Their idea put four iconic Disney villains' kids, Mal, the daughter of Maleficent, Evie, the daughter of the evil queen, Jay, Jafar's son, and Carlos, the son of Cruella de Vil, on the Isle of the Lost, just outside of a kingdom called Auradon, where Belle and the Beast rule, and where every Disney animated story has already had its happily ever after. The villains lost and the heroes won, and that's why the villains are on the Isle of the Lost, like Alcatraz over there. But the next generation, their kids would have to figure out who they are in a world that already decided who they're supposed to be. Those four villain kids, or VKs, get the chance to go to Auradon Prep High School as kind of an exchange program. Thankfully, though, they didn't send the good guys back to the Isle of Lost, or maybe they should have sent some of them, like, go watch the movies, you'll know who I mean. The movies do something interesting in that they treat every film in the Disney canon as history. If it happened in the original animated movie, that really happened. Auradon is their life after the stories and the foundation of something new, the Descendants universe. Disney legend and High School Musical director Kenny Ortega directed the early films, and I think I got to do a video on him. Let's do that one soon. I'm going to write that down too. Kenny Ortega. There's just so much there. He did High School Musical, and he brought that same sensibility to Descendants. The big choreographed numbers, theatrical energy, the cast of Disney Channel performers who committed completely and made the whole thing feel alive rather than just a product. But they did sell a lot of products with it too. The EDM-inspired music hit big time. There's a little dubstep in there, the costumes, the attitude, the way the villain kids moved through the world and kept telling them that they didn't belong there. It connected. I swear all the kids had purple and blue wigs and those Descendants costumes for Halloween that year. Descendants premiered on Disney Channel in July of 2015 and had 6.6 million viewers on its first night, making it the highest rated cable TV movie of that year. And after that one, they finished out a trilogy and then started up another round with The Descendants: The Rise of Red, which gets its second installment in 2026, coming up soon. Out of all the shared universes, this one is definitely the most lucrative and successful for Disney. The Descendants franchise has spanned over a decade, and it's 5 films, multiple animated series, shorts, and specials, and millions of hours of watching and streaming for Disney. And the merch, like I said, they sold everything. They had clothing, costumes, and a ton of Descendants dolls. Let's talk about those dolls for a second, because when Descendants came out, fans started noticing again that it had a lot in common with Ever After High, a Mattel property that launched in 2013, right around the same time that Disney was coming up with this idea. And Ever After High is also built around the idea of the children of fairy tale characters attending school together. It had a web series that was canceled in 2015, the same year Descendants premiered. The doll line went away quickly thereafter in 2016. Fans started connecting those dots pretty loudly on the internet too. But the creators of Ever After High never made any plagiarism claims. It's kind of that whole Fables situation with Once Upon a Time all over again. Fairy tale characters are public domain. The concept of their kids at school is still pretty broad territory, but Disney owns the pop culture definitive versions of the fairy tale characters. When Disney creates an idea similar to one that exists, theirs is going to win out every single time. And the timetables are just a little too convenient because every time someone outside successfully made a public domain fairy tale shared universe that fans loved, Disney ended up putting their own spin on it. Anyway, what Descendants built for Disney was a reason for a new generation, the post-high school musical generation, to care about every Disney movie retroactively. And they would probably check out those classic films after watching Descendants for the 100th time on Disney+. Or they would just rewatch Descendants again. But Disney is fine with that because either way, they get the streaming numbers. We Disney fans love the idea that our favorite movies and characters are connected. And our rumors, whisperings, conspiracy theories of a Disney grand unification theory will probably never be confirmed by Disney outright. I mean, they came pretty close with Wish, though. Remember Wish? And there are so many that I didn't even get to mention. Sophia the First got in on all that Disney princess action with the princesses guest starring in episodes. There's that awesome Once Upon a Studio short they made for Disney's 100th anniversary. And don't forget about Disney Infinity, that action figure video game crossover situation from the 2010s. That might even deserve a video of its own. So let's keep those rumors coming. Let me know in the comments, what's your favorite Disney Easter egg movie connection point that connects them all? I'm still going to believe that Aladdin and Jasmine fly the carpet right by the palace from Mulan. I know it doesn't make sense, I just like it. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on any more connections like these, could you do me a favor and click that like button and then go subscribe? Then go ahead and tell your Disney friends about this show. I gotta go get to work on that Kenny Ortega video. Until then, watch this one next, and remember to keep discovering the magic in everything.